Hello everyone, today we'll talk about the problem sort array by increasing frequency. We're given an integer array. We want to sort the elements in that array in increasing order based on their frequency, and if multiple values have the same frequency, the ties are broken in decreasing order, and we have to return the sorted array. This is an easy problem, so I will use it to showcase some of tricks specific to Python. First of all, if we're interested in frequency of values, we can use the counter class. By just initializing the counter with our numbers, ignore the sorted part for now, we get a data structure that will count the number of times every element appears. To retrieve all those elements, you can use most common. This method will return a list of pairs of values. We have a value and the number of times it appears, sorted in the decreasing order based on their frequency. So that's almost what we need, but not quite, but we'll get to it later. And now to unpack a list of pairs of value count into a list that has the same values and is flat, we have to take those values from our counter. We can use many methods to do so. And here we can use, for instance, a list comprehension that has more than one for statement. So we want to take v, where v is the value, c times, where c is the count of that value. So essentially we want v for whatever in range c, and all that for vc in the counter. And we can do it by writing it this way. This is quite an, at least for me, an unintuitive way of thinking about this process. It would be more intuitive for me to have it reversed, to have v for whatever in range c for vc in something, because now the definitions flow, I think, more naturally, but that would be a syntax error. However, one way to remember the order of those for loops is that since list comprehension is like a for loop, then you have to write those specific things, even though the statement is before the for loop, and normally you would have a statement after the for loop. The order of the for loops is the same. So you have to write for vc in counter, colon, for whatever in range c, colon, v. And that's order of the for statements is the same, as if it was just two nested fors. And now to make sure that the order is okay, well, what is the order that counter will give us? It used to be in Python that those hashing types, dictionary sets, counter is a type of dictionary, gave, I think, random order. At some point it changed, but it changed to them giving the order that's the same as the insertion order. So if ties had to be broken, they were broken by insertion order, earliest items were returned first. So to have our behavior here, we want increasing order based on frequency, and most common, this method will give us decreasing order based on frequency. Then we know that we have to somewhere reverse our answer, so let's reverse it at the end. And now to make sure that the order of values is proper, it isn't proper by itself, but since the insertion order is preserved, we can just sort the numbers at first. So this is not the most optimal solution, because for instance we have this sort which is probably unnecessary, or maybe it is. If all the elements are different, then indeed we'll just have to sort them. But still, we can do it this way. So we sort them, and now their insertion order is the same as the reverse of the order that we want them in the final answer, since the order is to be decreasing. But since we reverse the result at the end, that's exactly what we want. So maybe try to wrap your head around the reversals, the orders, and so on. But yeah, so this is a pretty Pythonic way of writing it that maybe unnecessarily just showcases some of the functions of Python with some of the tricks, such as this thing that, so tricky parts, such as this fact that the counter and other dicts have this insertion order preserving property. And of course, two for loops in list comprehensions typically trip me up still, so yeah. This is a showcase for how to write them and how to think about their order if you're having problems like I do. But you probably are not having those problems, but yeah, just in case.